What's up, guys? It's Donnie back with another episode from Spoken Like a Man. Today I'm sitting with Larry Smith III. He is an author and filmmaker. I'm really excited to have him here. I really respect the struggles that he's been through, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. Larry, it's nice to have you on my show, man. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, no problem, man. Thank you.
So I watched your movie. I did watch it. I started it today. I'm going to ask you some questions about it and kind of get some clarity on it. One of the big
Okay.
things that I liked about it, you said that one of the highlights of your childhood was baseball in it, but you didn't really go into it a whole lot. So you
hmm
said the highlight of your youth was your dad teaching you to pitch baseball. What made that moment so special for you? Why was that so special?
Well, because I learned how to pitch, I became a better pitcher. I don't know the way he set it up. I mean, it was very awkward for me to pitch inside of a bucket into a tree, but it gave me the dynamics on how to throw a baseball faster and narrower, and so that way it helped me a lot when I started playing.
So was it also part of your connection with your dad there, or just the fact that it made you better at
Yeah, it
baseball?
was definitely a part of my connection because my dad has been in our lives my whole life, and I'm thankful for that. To have a father that has been there for me. Everything hasn't always been, the best, but sometimes, you can weed those things out when they've always been there.
I love that, man. And you're right. It's actually pretty rare to have a father figure in the home anymore with divorce rates and stuff so high.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of getting your background here and trying to look into some events. It said before the age 21. What was your?
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine, brother. Don't even worry about it. Hey, what's up, homie? What's your name?
Daniel.
So before the age of 21, what was your life like for you at home and in your community?
I was I like to elaborate on who I was before my condition started. I was a very normal child growing up. I I went to the YMCA a lot. The YMCA is what really saved my life because I played basketball a lot, and it just really like that part of my life was, I would like to say, normal because I had a good childhood. I had good parents. That raised me, and things were just normal. But up until like you say, up until I was 21 is when I was first diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Mm-hmm. Now
Yeah.
it said you kind of moved around a little bit. I had a hard time in the movie following that. Killeen and Fort Hood. What were you hoping to find when you moved to Fort Hood? So I saw that you moved with Sonny, right? What were you
hmm
hoping to find there in Fort Hood? And can you kind of explain, like timeline wise, where you kind of grew up? So it was Houston, and then Fort Hood, maybe, or Killeen, or
Yeah,
just
Killeen, Texas.
yeah. Could you go into that a little bit for me, like where you grew up at and the timeline for me?
Killeen, Texas was a place where I left after I got out of college, and I went there to start over. I was going to school and stuff like that. But Forest Killeen, it was just like a place where me being young and just getting away from the house and going somewhere else to live on my own with my friends. I had roommates and stuff. So that was just a place for me to explore, as a young person.
I got you. Uh, walk me through the bad ecstasy pill incident. Like what happened there? Because I saw a part in the film where you said your brothers came and picked you up with your cousin, and they had questions, but it didn't really dive into it. I'm curious about that a little bit. So what really happened there? What actually happened?
Well, I was living with a friend of mine and his cousin, and the cousin actually, was like, hey, have you ever tried ecstasy before? And I was like, no, I've never tried it. But the way he described it made me want to just try it, and I just ended up trying it. And before you know it, I went into a zone where my mind began to repeat itself. And that's why I knew I was chemically imbalanced, so um, that part, of my life, I don't regret because I wouldn't have a story today to tell and things like that. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what happened during that time.
I got you. And then there was an exorcism in your film that was performed on you. Was that an
Hmm.
actual real event? Did that like actually happen? And how would you interpret that now? Because I saw in the film you were kind of like hypnotized by the cross there, like so it left a little bit of room for interpretation. So how would you interpret what was happening back then? Like what was that for you? Did it work? Did it not work? Tell me about that a little bit.
I want to say, I actually want to say my parents wanted it to work for me, but it was just something that they wanted to try because, we all saw the movies and stuff like that. And I kept telling them, the good part of my mind kept telling them that, look, I need something to get whatever is in my mind, I needed to get it out. I wanted to get it out, so they just decided to try an exorcism.
I got you. So
Hmm.
when you were growing up, who were the people that modeled strong leadership for you? I love that you said your parents were still there for. Were they kind of your only role models, or did you have other people that were kind of leaders that you followed, or were influential in your life?
My older brother was pretty influential, always worked, raised his family, uh, you know, uh, kept the lifestyle away, kept everyone away from his lifestyle as far as anybody who was a bad influence in his life. So he kind of stayed to himself. So he was one of the role models in my life, my oldest brother.
So when you were, it was. I was trying to understand that it was Sonny that you were selling drugs with. Is that right? That's pretty simple. Was
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, were you more of a follower or a leader in that situation? There, did you just kind of follow him and follow in, or
I,
how
I
did?
want to I want to say, man, because I ended up taking ecstasy because of what someone told me. I was pretty much a follower, to be honest. I mean, there's no other way to describe it,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much. So,
And
yeah.
and you said in the movie that your biggest downfall really was the peer pressure. What would leading yourself have looked like in that moment? So it was a peer pressure, the taking the ecstasy. If you were taking leadership upon yourself, what would that have been? I noticed in the film there was a lot of negatives, but not really a lot of how to stand up for yourself. So I'm going to try to get that from you while we're talking today. So,
Okay.
um,
Well,
yeah, how would you have been leading yourself? How would you have taken that situation a little differently, looking back on it?
for first of all, I would have started with, you know, denying the fact that, to my friend, like, hey, I don't want to try that. I'm good on that. That would have resolved a lot of things that happened after taking that pill. So by me saying no to peer pressure would have solved a lot of my issues, I would say.
I got you. Now I'm going to touch on it just a little bit. The film focused more on the negative aspects of your life rather than showing people how to avoid them. Why did you choose to do it that way?
Well, because I wanted to show the side that no one gets to see of a person that's going through mental health and dealing with drug related issues. I may have could have showed a more positive side, but that was actually my intention to show a positive side. If I didn't do that enough, maybe forgive me on that. But my whole intention was to show the the negative side in order to show people that, hey, this is what you could try to avoid versus uh you know doing following in my footsteps.
That makes sense. Um, how has your definition of leadership changed from your early 20s until now? So back when all that was going on, when you're first diagnosed, you kind of knew what leadership was back then, or you had one definition of it. What does that look like now that you have gone through all of that? How has your definition of leadership changed?
My definition of leadership has ultimately changed so much because I've grown in so many ways in my adulthood, and I've gotten a chance to look at my past mistakes and correct myself a lot, and I've also got a chance to make changes in my life and to just evolve as a human being, to evolve more and see that, hey, you do bad, you get bad, you do good, you get good. you
Mm-hmm.
know that's what I ultimately got from it, as far as leadership.
Why did you include the scene about the dish soap? I don't know if it was trying to show dish soap or if it was like a poison that was going into your mom's drink. You didn't
You're
really put
right.
any context or give an apology or explain that. So, do you want to do that now, or do you want to explain why there wasn't an apology or really any context? It's just you were in a bad time, so you threw soap in there, and that was kind of where it ended.
That was kind of like a result. like an end result, a bad result of what the drug of the side effect did to me.
I got you. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sorry if I didn't get that clear enough,
Yeah, I
but with me being in the house that whole year was like the effects of the drug that I took.
I got you.
So
So
it
that
made
makes
me
it.
do.
I understand better now.
Yeah,
No, go ahead. Go ahead and explain it that way, because people are. I'm
yeah,
going to
it
try to get
made
people to watch it.
it made me, act out weird situations because of the effects of the bad effects of the drug. So I was like in phases where I wanted to take my own life. I just try to do that stuff with my mom, and and it's just like it was just so much that was happening that I was trying to find the best way to clarify, what happened when I was in the house during that time.
I got you. That's because the scene of you filling the tote and going out the window, and then and
Yeah.
like, so that the same thing with the belt when you were trying to unalive yourself, right?
Hmm.
That was in that same time frame. This is actually kind of putting it all into context for me, because it was difficult to follow that part. So
Okay.
this is while you were going through the bad effects of that one incident, right? From that.
Hmm.
Okay, okay, all right. That makes much more sense now. Chess scene with the emancipation. It's factually wrong. So what research did you do before filming that, or is that just a discussion that came up, or how did that work?
That was a scene that we used that we wanted to add because the person who acted out the scene that was the part of the scene, it was also his idea. So we just wanted to use it to as part of the movie.
I
It
got
wasn't
you.
nothing. It wasn't nothing that it was a part of my life. It was just something that we used to strengthen the movie in certain ways.
I got you. So it wasn't really you; it was somebody that was kind of in the film for you, and that's something they wanted to add to it. So it wasn't
Hmm.
something you actually researched and looked into.
Not actually, no.
Okay. Final question about that part. Do you believe your film tells the truth in full, or are there parts that you kind of left out intentionally that you don't mind talking about, or do you feel like there's anything that you left out in that story that you'd like to tell?
No, not really. Other than what was shown, like in an order of what was shown. But as far as up until today, nothing really. I pretty much laid everything out in the movie, and also in my book, and I also have a documentary that also tells the same story too.
I like that. I'm actually going to check out both. Our interview came up pretty quick, and I've had actually a few interviews this week. I'm going to read your
Mhm.
books as well. I love learning about people, and I found a lot of this very interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm going to check out your books too. And here in a minute, I'm going to give you the opportunity to tell everybody your books, your movies, and all that stuff.
Okay.
If you could remake your film for clarity and impact, what changes would you make in the film? I know you've probably watched it. Are there changes you would make to make it a little more clear?
First, what I would like to do, I would like to get the audience's take on what they thought of it, and then if it was something that they wasn't sure of, like you were, then I would probably adjust the film according to what could have been done better, show a more positive effect, But I can't just make that decision based on what I think. It's all about what people uh, watching it,
Mm-hmm.
what they got from it.
I got you.
So
What's the single most important thing, and this one's important, single most important thing you want young people to remember after hearing your story?
I want them to remember how important it is to say no. I know we've heard that so much growing up as kids. Oh, you say no to drugs, you say no to drugs, but literally, when that time presents to you of somebody trying to do something in front of you with drugs, like literally, just please take my story, how raw it is. I'm sorry to be that way, but take my story and really, really think twice about uh, taking those steps to doing drugs when it comes to those situations.
In those situations with the peer pressure, because you said that was your biggest downfall, how should somebody resist the peer pressure when it's coming from friends or close family like it did in your situation? What would you say to somebody that's dealing with that peer pressure now? How should they deal with that to avoid it?
Well, I would say if there's people that are in your life that may result to you having to make a decision like that, I would say stay away from them. Don't put yourself, don't engage yourself in a position where you'd have to say no because you already know it's going to come from there. So just try your best to stay away from those situations. It's just like a person who's trying to stop drinking. They need to stay away from, the bars or, stuff like that, like, we all know that we like to have fun and this and that, but sometimes fun can run a circle around us and we need to take a step back and actually take a different approach towards things.
I like that. So cutting them off, you don't see. I'm the same way, brother.
Yeah,
Like I really am. I just bad things in my life. I don't need them in my life. And if you
yeah.
eliminate yourself from my life, you didn't need to be there in the first place.
Mhm.
So, what do you hope your books and your films are going to accomplish over the next 5 years? What do you think? What would you like to see happen? Like more awareness? What is it that you're wanting to happen over the next 5 years with your books and films?
I would like to whatever the context of what I write, I would like for that to be heard. I would like to that to be uh not accepted, but actually given some thought about what I write. Whatever it is that I've written, and it can be challenged. I'm here to discuss it and talk about it, but I would hope that people would just actually, you know, uh, actually give some thought about what it is that I write and actually say, hey, you know what, this is not bad. This, give it a chance.
I like that. When your story is told in 20 years from now, what do you want people to say about the life you lived after your turning point? What do you want your legacy to be, brother? What do you want people to say about you 20 years from now, after your life is turned around and you've been putting this effort into shining light on something that is so important, the mental health that you dealt with, the drugs that you've dealt with? What do you want your impact to be 20 years from now? Your legacy.
I want my legacy to be that, not only did he take his story and put it out there to the world so people can learn from it, but also as an author to be taken serious and say, hey, the guy really was passionate about writing, and which I am, and my legacy is my writing. So I would like for people to just admire the fact that I took this very serious. I've been doing it 15 years, and I love the craft of writing. And filmmaking, I haven't been doing it that long, but the only reason I do film, not the only reason, but one of the reasons why I do film is because I take the books that I write and turn them into movies.
I got
So
you.
that's what my legacy would be. That in a sense.
Yeah. At the end of your movie, you had said that people weren't taking you seriously after your diagnosis or something like that. You really want to be heard. And that sounded
Mhm.
pretty important to you at the end of the movie. You want to speak on that just a little bit? Because I take you seriously, brother. I like your story, and I want other people to hear it and take it seriously as well. Is that something that you've struggled with? Because you said, like I said, you felt like nobody was taking you seriously or you weren't being heard because of your diagnosis.
Yeah, that's kind of like one of those things that you deal with personally. Like with me personally, it's like the alter ego, where it's like, man, I know what I'm doing. I know I'm diagnosed, but I know what I'm doing is good. But it kind of makes me wonder, like the people that do know me and that do know of me, are is am I being taken serious because I love what I do and I do what I do, or is it because I'm being taken lightly because I have this condition? So that's kind of like one of the things that might not even be true, but it's one of the things that I've struggled with over the years because you know uh, the fact of the matter is that type of issue does exist in some people, not all people, but we sometimes uh, take people lightly because they have this type of disability or something like that. But that's just that may be just an alter ego that I'm dealing with. Which for the most part, I know it has happened before. But I don't too much shed any more light on it anymore.
I got you. And you know what? That brings up another question. So you didn't go into great detail about the schizophrenia. The diagnosis had said you had severe schizophrenia, were you suffering from auditory and visual hallucinations? So you were hearing and seeing things, or
Yeah.
was it? Can you describe that a little bit for me? Like, is it you were being told to do things? So the reason I asked, my grandfather was schizophrenic, so
Okay.
I would spend time with him, and he would think that the lady on the TV that was giving the news weather was sending him messages, and that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
describe that a little bit for me, if you don't mind.
Well, the voices, sometimes you don't know how they're going to approach you. They could be coming from an aspect of they're pretending to be God in your head. And then ultimately that voice that's pretending to be God, you want to listen to it, right? Because this is God, but it's really not. It's just a voice that is presenting itself to be as God, but it's not. And it's like you have to be strong enough to cope with the fact that I know this is not God, because God would not want me to do such a horrendous thing that this voice is telling me. That's how I separated everything.
I got you. The
Yeah.
the medication, is it? Do you still have auditory hallucinations, and this helps with
No.
it, or the medication
The me-
eliminates all that?
oh yeah, it helps. It definitely helps. No matter what anybody say about medication, you have to be the one walking in the shoes to know
Mm-hmm.
how it feels. So, and I present this to anybody, and I would say, hey, if you had a diagnosis and someone said that medicine can mess you up even more, would you want to stay with the diagnosis and not take the medicine and be like that, walking the streets talking out of your head, or would you take something that's actually been helping and you're actually seeing the result of what that it's helping? So I'm not saying that medicine is all good, but it ain't all bad.
I
That's
got you.
what that's my approach.
I got you. Hey, sorry, I keep backtracking a little bit because I keep remembering questions that I forgot that I was going to ask
No,
you.
that's okay.
So, your mother dropped you off at the St. Joseph Mental Hospital like midnight, 1 o'clock, and it said you were walking the streets and like sleeping on the streets and stuff.
Hmm.
But I feel like I don't think you directly said it, but I feel like you're an advocate for people going to the hospital. Wait, actually, you did actually say that, I believe.
Yeah.
It's
Uh-huh.
so speak on that a little bit too, because I really like that you're advocating for people to get help. They're having mental issues. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah,
Explain to me about that.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because when you are in a situation where your mind is so quote unquote not there, not as much there, where you're just doing things unaware, where when you get to that stage, you kind of get to that feeling where you feel like, okay, these nurses and these doctors, they're trying to hurt me, they're trying to kill me. All these conspiracy theories pop up in your head when you get like that. But I want people to know that when you start getting like that, it is okay to check yourself in, because you're not, think about it, you're not yourself. You're only yourself now because you've gotten out of the hospital, or you may have never been, but I'm talking to the ones who have been. You've gotten out of there and now you've gotten back better, but you think you don't need medicine anymore. Really, that is not the truth. Actually, from my experience, you can stay off of it and you'll have an experience again over and over and over and over. So I wanted to relay in my message in the movie that, it's okay to check yourself in if you feel like you're getting too bad. Because think about it, when you're not checking yourself in, there's always somebody dragging you to the hospital, forcing you to go, because they're actually can see that you need help. So I'm trying to bring awareness to the fact that, hey, if you're watching this and you're going through that, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with your medicine. It's okay. They're trying to help you. I know that may seem like, oh, that's a bunch of bull. No, it's not. It's literally, I've been to these places a lot of times, and I have experience with this. And I've been diagnosed over 20 something years, and I've always saw that my parents used to force me to go, but when I started taking myself, my dad started acknowledging that. He's like, hey, that's good that you can recognize that you need to go and get help, because depression is a real thing. And when it sits on you, you will take your life because it's hard. And if you don't get help, it's hard, man. That's the best way I can put it.
No, I actually really like that, and a lot of the premise of my podcast is men's mental health.
Like,
Tell them your books, the names of your books, your
yeah,
movie, how to find them.
right. The name of, well, I'll start with book number one, Smiling Through the Pain. That's my first book. The second book is The Other Side of Ecstasy. The third book is The Power of Achievement. and then you have Black Gold Down Under, and then also The Search for Lydia, and that's a suspense thriller that I just recently wrote in 2023.
And
Yeah,
the film is based off of
and the
one of your
film,
books.
yeah, the book, The Other Side of Ecstasy, is based on the documentary and the movie, The Other Side of Ecstasy,
Yep, I
and
love it, man.
you can find that movie on Amazon Prime Video right
Guys, make
now.
sure you check it out. I watched it. It wasn't expensive. It was $3 to rent it. It's a good show. You should watch it. Check it out. Make sure you get his books too. I respect his story. I really like it. The man went through a lot of struggles. He's gone through mental health issues, drug issues. Now he's an accomplished author and a filmmaker. Make sure you check it out. This has been another episode of Spoken Like a Man. No fear, no filters, just truth. Appreciate you. Check out the next episode, guys.
Thanks for having me.